Well, calm has now descended here at the Maracanã. An hour or so ago, this place was absolutely bouncing. Red Star Belgrade inflicting a 2-0 defeat on Liverpool. A really chastening night for Jurgen Klopp and his Liverpool players. They were outfought. That was the bottom line tonight. Red Star showed the greater passion, the greater fight, the greater desire, and that enabled them to bridge the golfing class that we saw at Anfield a fortnight ago when they were hammered 4-0. Klopp had said in the build-up to this game that he felt his players would be able to handle the cauldron, they'd be able to deal with the intimidation and the hostility from the stands. But the brutal reality is they weren't up to it. To a man, they fell short. They just didn't start the game well enough. Klopp had urged them to quieten down the locals by imposing themselves on the contest from the start. But the opposite happened. They were sloppy. I thought the changes Klopp made certainly backfired tonight. Matip struggled at the back, same with Lallana in midfield. And Sturridge up top will be having nightmares about the chance he missed early on. It was a glorious opportunity, and if that goes in, he skied it when he really had to bury it from close range. And Klopp said himself afterwards that goals change games, and certainly that would have had the desired effect to just kill off the mood inside. But instead, Red Star just grew in belief, they grew in confidence, and it's certainly a night that Milan Pavkov will never forget in his career. He only cost €300,000 last year, but popped up with 2 goals in the space of 7 manic first half minutes. The first one a header from a corner, Liverpool not dealing with that, and then the second one, Milner giving the ball away, and he shrugged off Wijnaldum and hammered it in from 25 yards. And at that point, this place was, it was absolute bedlam inside here. You couldn't hear yourself think. And certainly, Liverpool, Klopp said that after that he felt they'd lost their mojo, and I think you could say they lost the plot as well, because they never really looked like getting themselves back into it. Okay, the second half they dominated. I think they ended up having 75% possession plus, and were pretty much camped in Red Star's half. But Red Star had a 2-goal lead to hold on to. They were always going to sit back and defend in numbers, and the keeper didn't really have too much to do. I know you could point to the Robertson deflected cross that hit the bar and Salah hit the post. A couple of other half chances here and there. Mane had one that was scrambled to safety, but Liverpool were far from convincing. There was no real spark, no real guile. It was a world away from the scintillating brand of attacking football we were treated to on that thrilling journey to Kiev in Europe last season. And that's 3 successive European away defeats for the Reds, and you have to go back to 1979 for the last time that happened in Europe's elite club competition. So it's an issue. Liverpool folded in a similar environment in Naples not so long ago, and with a game away to PSG only a few weeks away, it's something that Klopp has to try and find a remedy for, because that was a long way short of the standards expected tonight. Felt sorry for the 1,500 or so Cop-outs who made the long trip over here, because they were left short-changed with that performance. It wasn't good enough. The only saving grace for Liverpool tonight really is that with the other game in the group finishing 1-1 in Naples, Liverpool lose top spot. Napoli are now top on the head-to-head, both teams level on 6 points. But it means that PSG stay behind them on 5, and what it also means is that regardless of that result in Paris in a few weeks, Liverpool will go through to the last 16 if they beat Napoli by more than 1 goal on the final match day. But Napoli, as we saw over there, are a very good side, so that's far from a gimme. And what is clear is that Liverpool will have to lick their wounds and go again, because the fine form we've seen in the Premier League this season hasn't been replicated so far on their travels in Europe. They could have found themselves 3 points clear in Group C tonight. Instead, they're now sitting second, and they've got a lot of thinking to do. I think it'd be a very quiet 3-hour flight back to Merseyside. They've got to recover, and then Klopp has to ensure he gets the right response when Fulham come to Anfield in the Premier League at the weekend.